In this video, we will show you how to connect the Expanse PCB to the Raspberry Pi. First thing you need to do is to connect a USB cable to one of the available ports of the Raspberry Pi. And then you will need to route this port through the software which is presently running on the Raspberry Pi. And we do that by opening Chrome and typing in the URL 192.168.2.2 column 2770 /routing, and this will bring us to the routing page. Then you select the serial port which corresponds to the Arduino. If nothing else is connected, you won't see anything different, but if the PixHawk was connected, you would see the PixHawks over there. So make sure you select the one that is for the Arduino. Then you select the baud rate of 115200 and add serial endpoint. On the UDP endpoint, you will put the IP address of 0.0.0.0. And the UDP port, you can select whichever port is free on your computer. We recommend using 1241 and add UDP endpoint. From this point down, what you need to do is select a bidirectional connection and select the UDP address. So you can see that it's going to talk back and forth with that endpoint, and click on connect. Once connected, you will see this symbol over here, which basically means that the 232 channel is linked in routing. The next thing you need to do is you need to come in, right click and click on COM setup, select UDP, put the same IP address, the same port number, and this will terminate the application. Start the application again, and now you can see that we have a communication is established. You can now turn on the laser on and off and all the various other things. Going back to the PCB, as you can see, there are more connections on here. What's important is the connection 1 to 7 over here is the output connection. This over here is connection PWM 1 to 6 for the PWM output, and the first one is just the power in. So basically the 0 volt or ground, which is the first top row, and the power, which is the second row of these connectors, are all linked together. So by applying power over here, it will power throughout the whole bus. The signal is the bottom row. So in this case, if you have a Blue Robotics upgrade for your network that we sell at Delta ROV, you can notice that we have 5 DC-DC buck converter. Each converter can be adjusted with that adjustment in the corner, and each of them has an enable line. The enable line is then wired to this connector, and in addition to the enable lines, we have a ground for reference. So the ground wire is connected to the top so that we have the same reference for ground for both the Expanse PCB and the network upgrade kit. And on the bottom, from out 1 to out 5 is now wired out 1 to out 5 over here, so that you can turn on and off these buck converters. And in this case, what we have connected the laser over here and the camera over here. So this is the power that's been set up for the camera. So on this channel we have 12 volts. In this channel we have 5 volts. The next connection that we have is the I2C connection. So Basically, this is just the connection going from daisy chain from one I2C, this is the master I2C device, to all the slave devices. The other connections we have is the PWM. So for the small servo, we're using the power from the PCB. So this power over here is going to the small servo over here, and the signal, which is the yellow line, is connected to the bottom. Now you can notice that other connection only has the signal connected because they are getting their power from a different source. For example, this servo is wired with the signal on the orange line going to the PWM, but the power is coming from this isolation over here down to the power supply. So the relay turns it on and off for the power, and once it's got power, you're allowed to turn the servo. The ground is just connected to the ground bus. So this is how to connect this Expanse PCB. And if you have any further question, please don't hesitate to contact us at info@deltarov.com.